Jimmy Reed at the Savory, August 28th, 1976. It is a worn and weathered reed, but a live one. Those squinting eyes, that salt and pepper hair, those deep lines on his brow like fissures carved by water on rock, appearing each time he parts his full lips and flashes his broad smile. He has the appearance and countenance of a seasoned seer, spreading truth through his bluesy romanticism.
You said your mom taught you to play guitar?
Yeah,
that's cool.
I was like 6 years old. My mom was really talented. She played, guitar, piano, saxophone, drums. My father was completely buttoned down, repressed 1940s and 50s guy. He just told her not to do it anymore. I have a sister, but I've actually lost contact with her. We were moving so much and she moved, and the only relative, I'm not very close with my family, so. I cannot wait, it makes me feel so different. I'm not a good recruit, I cannot wear that monkey suit. So all my days I've been so poor. I guess I'm lazy to the core, but I just can't work in the company store. Guess it'll be that way forevermore. There's one thing I want understood. I do not think that I'm too good. Oh Lord, I would if I only could. Here's one thing I want understood. I cannot wear your monkey suit. It makes me feel like an incomplete. I'd rather be destitute. I cannot wear that monkey suit. No, I cannot wear your monkey suit.
I saw Dave Van Ronk, who's called the mayor of McDougal Street, was one of the bright lights of the 60s, the great folk scare. And it just changed my life. He was just up on the stage by himself with the guitar, and I just thought, wow, that's what I want. I disbanded that band. And,
Yes, but I have to chime in here and say, after Up to My Balls and the Blues came out, that was a trio, and that's when I started trying to help PK with his music and stuff to get more attention, which I totally think he deserves. And it's not that easy to get gigs, especially when nobody really, if they don't know who you are already. So I had gotten a couple of shows for the trio, and I'm not going to name names, but one of the other guys, he didn't want to travel. One of the shows was in Portland, and he just didn't want to go that day. And I just was like, wow, if we're going to really do something with this, and by do something I mean make money, we need to get rid of those guys. So then when not Up to My Balls, but Blues Guy Now came out, it was a quartet with another guitar player, but there was also 3 solo acoustic tracks on that CD because we were already leaning in that direction. Pretty quick.
Yeah, no matter what I'm doing and no matter how successful it's been, like the Jitters, someone was offering to record another album for us, to pay for it. And I had gone to the Oregon Country Fair and started this vaudeville troupe, and we wanted to go to Europe, and I disbanded the Jitters, and there was people willing to pay us money, but that is why I do it. I do it to make a living. but you know, that's not the basis of it. I'm a slave to my muse, you know.
Well, honestly, it wouldn't matter if he didn't get a penny. He can't help himself. I mean, not many people at that age who have severe arthritis like that and can't use their left index finger, it's really hard to play guitar without your left index finger.
After hurting my hands, I'm just grateful that I can still do it, you know, because the first 6 months that we were here, I really didn't know whether I would ever be able to play or not, and there were many days where I thought that I would not be able to play again.
You know, but he can't stop. He can't stop. That's how he communicates with the world, and he's totally just internally driven.
It's all spiritual to me. I mean, it's a very spiritual thing. Writing songs, you know, I don't know where those come from. I'm so glad they come to me. I mean, that's one of the greatest joys in my life, is to, you know, all of a sudden have a new song. This is the actual genesis of the change to the blues. I'm watching TV one night, and this ad comes on, and it's for a horrible show called Darman Gray. Famous rock and roll star on this weekend, or probably rock star. They don't say rock and roll star anymore. And they have a blue dot over his head, but you can kind of see the top of his hair, and I'm thinking, God, that looks like Bob Dylan. So the next Monday night, I tune in. The thing that I noticed is Bob Dylan's playing this really cool guitar, which turned out to be the K Thin Twin, which is also known as the Jimmy Reed models. And I had loved Jimmy Reed when I was a teenager and really hadn't listened to him since then. I have this great big book that's called American Guitars, and there's a little picture in it of the Thin Twin Jimmy Reed model. And I didn't want to, I did cart it around for a while, but I thought this is ridiculous and I'm ruining the book. So I went out and bought a CD really just for the picture. And I just put it on one day and I went, wow, that is so great. And I could sort of do something like that. And I had hair down to my waist, and, you know, I cut it all off. I got suits, you know, suit and ties, and I went from standing up when I played, which I'd always done. You know, I was very energetic. I leapt all over the stage, you know. I went to sitting down, which I'd never done, but it just seemed like the right thing to do. And now it seems totally normal. But yeah, the year 2000 was just, it was like the biggest change in the world. You know, the blues thing and meeting Carol, and you know, it was a real, it was pretty neat that it happened, you know. I mean, 2000 was kind of a big deal, you know. I mean, I'd been alive for 50 years, and it was always 19 something, you know, so it was really odd.
And you'd gone through little reinventions and changes, but this was like the big one, like this.
Yeah, the only other really huge one was going from being like, you know, the rock and roll guy in the Jitters to the Hollywood Dick Doll Review, which was like you know, a musical comedy acoustic thing, you know, with me and two women. So that was a huge change, and people, you know, when I took that back to Seattle from New York City, people couldn't believe it. Like, I came back, well, I left New York City as a, you know, a complete drunken rock and roller, and came back as a sober musical comedy guy. So that was like a huge change. But this was the other just gigantic change for me, musically speaking. The one I got, I actually wrote Up to My Balls in the Blues on it. That was the first thing that I ever did.
So you got the Jimmy Reed, and then you wrote the song?
Yeah. But the guitar, I had a neck reset on it. Could never get it to stay in tune, so I got rid of it. But it was a beautiful guitar. Because Jimmy Reed came to me late one day, said, "Boy, you better listen to me, PK, and be a blues guy now."
That's awesome.